Welcome to the Sunny Day Layered Shadow Box Paper Project Assembly Tutorial. This is a great little piece for our sun-loving, beach-loving friends, family. You can make this for yourself, obviously, if you have a tropical or beach-themed room, maybe a bathroom. And of course, it would make a great gift for someone that likes the same tropical things, Florida, Hawaii. If you live in the Sun Belt, of course, you probably have one room dedicated to something tropical. So anyway, actually it would make a great housewarming gift too for someone that loves the beach. But I think this is my favorite of the three, and we're just gonna jump right in and put it together. So this sheet that I have here in front of me, this is a 12 by 12 sheet. No cutting required on this, but we're gonna grab this piece here, and this is a little tool that's gonna help us get the next few sections, well, actually the rest of this, nice and centered on this 12 by 12 sheet. So you want to take this and just align it, get it nice and flush with the corner, and then take a nice fine tip marker or a pencil and just kind of draw the little corner there. You're creating basically a registration mark. So it ends up looking like a little tiny L. And I'm going to do this on 3 sides. I think 3 is enough. You can do all 4 if you find that helpful. And I'm just going to draw that little L there, just a little corner. Okay, we'll do that on this side as well. And there we go. Okay, so that's just a visual guide to help us get this placed nice and centered. Okay, and well, that leads us to our first layer. Now this is a little different. This is the back side of the layer. This is the front. Okay, on the back, we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue this into place. It kind of just creates a nice contrast of our sun here, our sun's face. And I'm literally just going to put some glue right around here. Don't get the glue on the face, obviously. You can go inside a little bit. And this doesn't need to be glued perfectly. All we need to do, and you'll notice that there are some little markers here, so that you can take these pointy parts and line them up to get it nice and centered. If you're off a little bit, it's not a big deal because there's only a small area that actually shows through on this side. Okay, so you can see that two-toned effect that we have there. Now we also want to, we got 4 of these little pieces, and we're gonna glue these right into these little areas with these little markers. Now we don't want to put glue on this because we don't know exactly where to put it. So I'm just going to do a few little dots around the cutout like so. And the skinnier tip, the skinnier part of it is going to be towards the sun's face. Okay, so just get that in place like so. And grab the next one, do the same thing. And it might actually, you don't have to since it's so skinny over there, but you could do a little dot on that little strip there. That should be fine. And just pop that right into place using those guides, and then just drop it into place. And I totally missed the mark on the glue there on the perimeter, but that's okay. We don't need a ton of glue to keep this in place. Okay, going to the next one here. So far, very simple. Oops, that's okay. That's going to be covered up anyway. And just drop that one into place, like that. And our last one. Just a few dots will do. It ain't going nowhere. Okay. Now if you're using textured cardstock, make sure that you have your textured side facing away from you so that it shows through on this side. Okay. So you can see that there. Okay, very simple. All right, so now we're going to take this whole piece and we're going to glue this flat onto this section here. So I'm going to begin by just doing a nice line of glue around the perimeter. Nice and easy. Try to be somewhat quick with it because this so much surface area to cover, and we just want to make sure that it doesn't start to dry on us. Okay, so this one here, we just need to get this centered with the little, or put them in place using those little markers that we created. And those are kind of just a guide. So even after using them, we do want to kind of visually approve it and make sure that it is in fact nice and centered. It is. And great time to grab your brayer if you have one, to use that to kind of squish that glue down and get this into place. Check your work. I've got a little area here. Remember this little piece of paper that we used to create those little guides? Well, we can use that to throw a little glue on there and paint glue underneath any little areas that maybe didn't get enough glue and are kind of poking out or sticking up. Okay. That looks great. Next up is this section here. So find and locate this piece. Now, the sun here is mostly symmetrical, but it's not quite symmetrical. So before you commit to gluing this down, these little markers here, use them to help you decide and take a look and make sure that this marker lines up correctly with this little, this little valley as part of the sun's rays. Okay, there's 4 of them, so make sure that they all match up. And once you get them matched up, take a look and check the alignment. If it's not sitting flush, rotate it, line it up with those markers again, and see how it works with this side. I think this is the correct side because I got it lined up with the markers and everything looks nice and flush all the way around. So it's going down this way. And if it helps, can just draw the letter T, indicating that that is the top. Okay, that's what I'm going to do so that while I'm gluing or applying my glue, I don't get confused and accidentally flip this around and put it down the wrong way. So just make sure it lines up correctly. Okay, so we got a nice amount of glue around the perimeter. Just kind of go nuts and get it all over here, and then maybe just a few little streaks along the little rays of our sun. That's probably all we need. Again, there's my T, that's my top, and that is going to go down like so. So actually, those markers that we have there, you can use them, but this is just going straight on top of the previous layer. So as long as all 4 corners are matched up, it should be good. Okay, I'm going to use my brayer, get that all in place. There we go, looking good so far. There we go. Okay, so now with this one, the last 2 that I did, we glued everything down flat. With this one, we are going to do a little bit of dimensional work, but the first 3 layers are going to go down flat, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so let's grab this next layer here, and we're going to put it down, make sure everything looks good before we commit. Okay, now you can see here that that is not correct. So we're going to rotate this. Now that is going to look correct. So you can see there that when we had it like this little area here is not matching up correctly. So we want to rotate it. And that is correct. You can see how that looks. And all around the perimeter, everything looks like it's lining up correctly. So I'm going to, just for the sake of not making any mistakes, just put a little T up on this side, indicating that that's the top. And we'll get glue in here. So again, with this one here, there's not a lot of little details. So we're going to work the perimeter first, and then just kind of go wacky over here. Get into as many little areas as you can. You don't need to obsess about every single little nook and cranny. A little bit of glue goes a long way. Okay, I think that's fine. All right, so find your T. There's my T. That's my top. And I'm going to pop this down. I'm focusing my gaze on the center of the sun, and then I'm kind of glancing around. I'll show you with my finger here as I'm putting this down where I was kind of looking. Let me just get this down real quick. So as I was placing it down, I was looking at this piece and how it would sit, or how it actually fits into these little rays from the previous layer. Make sure that you have a nice even border going all the way around there. And when you do that, the rest of it usually just kind of falls into place, and mine totally did. Okay, so these 3 layers are going to be glued down flat together. And we're going to take the next 3 layers, we're going to glue those all together, and then we're going to pop dot or Zot, 3D Zot, foam squares, whatever it is you're using on top of this to create a little added dimension. Okay, but we're pretty much halfway home here. And there is the first 3 layers. And now, put that off to the side for a second. We're going to find this piece. Okay, and that's going to sit right here. We're going to take this piece, and we're going to glue this piece to this piece. Okay, now we're going to do this in stages, I think. Let me see if I can, let's see if we can do this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to probably just glue half of it at a time. So leave that there, grab this piece here, and we're just going to do the top half of this. I'm only going to do this halfway because it is kind of wobbly, and it's just is a lot easier if you do it in little sections. So just get your glue in as many little areas as you can, specifically around the perimeter, just like that. I'm going to go down here a little bit more too. That's good enough. And with this one, there's no trick to this. Just get it lined up with the top. Make sure it's nice and flush with the top when you drop it down. And then give it a little nudge. Make sure it's nice and centered. There we go. Pardon my head if it's in the way. I think it was. It's okay. And then use your fingers there to press that down to make sure that it is, in fact, nice and centered. Perfect. Good job, Leo. All right, so that's that. So remember, we got half of that glued down. Now, you can take this, peel it back, like so, and begin applying glue to the other half, just like we did the first half. Get that glue all the way around the perimeter. And while I'm here, I'm going to hit these little areas. Okay, let me grab this, peel this back a little bit. Go down there, down there. There we go. Now, since it's already half anchored, should just be able to drop this into place, and it should sit exactly where it needs to be. And there you have it. Okay. I'll grab my brayer, press that down like that. There we go. And that just leaves one more layer, which is this guy here. Make sure that I have, there we go, look at that. And again, now this is not symmetrical here, so we may need to rotate it and make sure that everything looks good. There we go. Yeah, so when I had it this way, if you take a look here, these squiggly areas here don't line up. So we want to rotate it just 45 degrees, and you can see that that fits perfectly. So just like we did with this previous layer, we're going to do half of this at a time so that we don't try to have to get all of this correctly in place at the same time. With all that glue, you're bound to accidentally get it all over the place if we try to lay this thing down all in one fell swoop. So I'm just going to go about halfway, get some glue out to these little perimeter areas. Just fill in as many little areas as you can. Now, I didn't put the letter T on this, but I assume that since I'm working that section there, that is my top. Fingers crossed. And just get that nice and aligned. Yep, I got the right one. That's good. You could totally put a T up there just to make sure that you, in fact, have it in the right spot. There we go. Looks like it's nice and aligned. Yeah, that works. And just get that brayer out Press that down. You can use your hand too. That's fine. Either way. Okay, so that's in place. We're going to peel this back and finish this up. I'm going to put my glue around the perimeter first. All the way around. And then just kind of work these little areas. Get a little bit of glue here and there. You don't need to go crazy with it. There we go. And then again, since it's already half anchored, I should just be able to drop it right into place. Like so. There we go. Beautiful. Perfect. I'll say it's perfect. Okay. There we go. Press that down. Check your work. Make sure the perimeter is looking good. Everything's nice and flat. And if you have any little areas that might be lifting up, you can go in with a little glue like this area here. Just throw a little glue on here. Tuck it right under there. There's no glue on the bottom of this, so you could literally place it on the previous layer without worrying about getting glue everywhere. Paint a little bit of glue underneath it, press it down, and now it's nice and flush. Okay, so make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Now we're going to take this layer and we're going to use some foam squares to get this into place. I think we have to rotate it. There it is, just like that. Okay, you could glue this down flat if you want, but we're going to add a little bit of dimension to this. Now, let me double check this real quick here. I want to make sure that I do in fact have it in the correct orientation. With that said, I'll put a little T up here indicating that's my top so I don't get confused later on. And grab some foam squares. Let me see if I have some larger ones. I don't think I do. No, but you know what I do have? I have this roll. And yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go with these. This is gonna be easier for now. So with this, with the foam squares, we're gonna start in the corners, obviously. You don't wanna go all the way out to the corner. It's not necessary. So I bring it in maybe a 1/4 of an inch or so. And just start in the corners. And then of course, one at the very bottom in the center, one up here, one up here, one here. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip this over and just kind of push down in some of these areas. I'm gonna make this extra sturdy. I'm gonna put one there, one there, one there. Just, you know, give it enough support without overdoing it is the idea. And then kind of working my way in. This is a good spot there. There's a good spot there. That's a good spot. That's a good spot. There's another one. There's another one. We'll flip it over, kind of give it the push test. I'm basically pushing down on it to see if it's giving too much in some areas, and I think it's pretty sturdy. So I definitely want to get some in this inner ring. Try to hide them as best as you can so that they're not visible from the outside. There we go. I think that'll do it. Okay, so once we have our foam squares in place, you can flip it over, and I need to just take off the backing on all these. I'm going to kind of work from right to left at this point. It's fine. Whatever method you want to use is fine. It's not, I'm not doing any rocket science here, so. Okay. And literally after this, pretty much done. With this one, I'm gonna add a little bit of embellishing to it. Just got some rhinestones. We're gonna put some, well actually, you know what? There's one other thing too that I need to show you. I'll show you here in a second so we don't forget. That looks good. Gotta take that one off. I think we're good there. Okay, so where's my T? There's my T. T for top. Okay, so we're gonna pop this right on here. I'm gonna stand up We'll go to another angle here so you can see me doing this from this angle. You don't have to look at my head. And just get it nice and centered. There we go. Take a look all around. There it is. Beautiful. And just press down in the little areas that have the foam squares just to make sure everything's making good contact. And there you have it. And somewhere, somehow, somewhere, oops. Okay. So now as far as our sun goes here, there's two more little circles that would have cut out, and those go right on his little cheeks. So just throw a little bit of glue on the back of your first circle, get that nice and centered. And his little cheeks there. He's got a little two-toned cheek thing going on there. And that pretty much wraps it up. I'm gonna pop this thing in the shadow box. Oh, by the way, I've got some little black rhinestones that we're going to use for his eyes, or her eyes. I'll pop that right in there. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, so we got some black rhinestones. I'm going to see which one is a good size. That's probably too big. And actually, I like these guys here. Now, you're going to want to glue this down. I'm still not 100% sure that I'm committing to these, so I'm just going to pop them down using the adhesive on the back. I like that better, actually. That looks cool. These are like, they're almost like pearls. Wow, that really makes them look like, wow, that looks cool. And then we'll jazz it up with some more little rhinestones on this little blue area. And that's about it. Grab our shadow box. I got mine at Michael's the other day. They were on sale. Well, they were on sale, but I had a 20% off coupon, and I think it came out to maybe 16 bucks or so, something like that. I'll pop that right in here. Excuse me, mister. There you go. Put the back on. Close her up. Let's see what this looks like. It always just kind of really looks really polished inside of a frame. And there you have it. Beautiful. Awesome. Well, that's pretty much it. So again, take a look at the final photo so you can see where we added it's just some rhinestones to kind of give this thing a little extra bling. I mean, it is, in fact, it is the sun. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment and visit our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit that little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free, or any of our educational tutorials as well. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the 21,000 other dreamers that inspire us. So head on over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in the URL here that you see at the bottom of your screen, and join us. Show us what you're working on. It's a great place to inspire and be inspired. So anyway, appreciate you hanging out with me, and I look forward to crafting with you again.